welcome. We have a double patch note reading session today. We've got Guild Wars 1 patch notes and Guild Wars 2 patches. Of course, it's the 20th anniversary of Guild Wars 1. Very, very exciting. And, you know, of course, Lara is running a really cool event, playing through the entire game. I am also doing something as well. We're doing hardcore, very similar to kind of what's been going on in Classic WoW and other kind of like old school MMOs too. So we will try to beat the game without dying. We're going to work through all of the expansions and then try and kill Doom. It's going to be fun. It's going to be content, especially because I haven't really played that game in a try-hard capacity that much. So it'll be an experience, that's for sure. Pretty punishing stuff. But anyway, down to the patch notes here, guys. SAB is back, but it's the same. It is what it is. They added some new skins. Doesn't matter. It really, really is. It is what it is. However, we do have some additional balance changes to go over in Guild Wars 2. So the notes listed here, these are just the updated ones. I'm not going to go over all of them. If you want to do that, go look at my other video. I already did that. But the too long I can't read is essentially Firebrand got buffed in PvE and PvP a fair bit. Power Mech got buffed. Condi Mech has got nerfed. Supports in World vs. World got toned down a little bit. Couple of little buffs to Elementalist, kind of, you know, in PvE mostly, right? That's like the really big one. And then what else did they do? What happened? Oh, yeah. Yeah, they made Power Rev immortal in PvE. Because you get lifesteal whenever you have Roiling Mist, which is on every single power build for Rev. So that's Renegade and, well, actually every Rev power build. It's a pretty good one there as well. Very exciting. And they actually made Heal Thief have a lot of healing with blast finishes, which is actually pretty fun with Shadow Sap on the Scepter. But yeah, that's the deal. Oh, they also reduced the amount of pulls. Like the devs, the ArenaNet devs, guys, Roy was in World vs. World. He was getting chain pulled. Those who don't know, guys, Roy... World vs. World player, GVG player, and he was getting chain pulled, right? In World vs. World, he was like, nerf it, Trig! Nerf it now! To be clear, that is a joke, just in case people take that seriously. But that is essentially what happened in the patch. But we do have some other stuff. Like I said, I've already done a video on the changes. Go and read them, or watch them, or don't. It really is entirely up to you. What's happening here? Relic of Thorns. Condition damage down from 50 to 30 per stack in PvE only. This is a brand new relic that got introduced with the previous patch. Absolutely busted. You get 500 condition damage over you have a bit of a ramp up period where you take damage from a poisoned enemy. You get 50 connie damage. Rinse and repeat till you have 10 stacks. Ridiculously, insanely busted relic. Now it's only down to 30. It is still going to be, I think that's still pretty damn strong, to be honest. It will be a lot closer to the alternatives, say, compared to Fractal Relic. But what is worth noting about Thorns Relic, and this is one of the reasons why it's so strong, it has this universality to it. A Fractal Relic, you get a hit, and it hits one enemy with some extra condies, right? Every couple of seconds, right? Every couple of, it's like 20 seconds, whatever. That's obviously big damage, but Relic of Thorns is everything. So in cleave. So if you're a condition build and you're cleaving a bunch of mobs down, you will get that extra con damage on everything. So it has that universality. Like that, I think it's still better, I want to say, actually, than the other options. Definitely by not such a huge margin overall. So I think if ArenaNet want to go this direction, they need to kind of make it a little bit weaker than other options and then specialize other stuff. Like one is really good for single target damage. One has more AoE potential. One has like, some burst AoE or something or applies different conditions. Kind of like the CC one, right? Like the one that gives confusion and torment when you CC something. I can't remember what it's called right now, okay, because I'm old. Sigils that stack on kill can no longer be set with the death of an ally. This is a really fun interaction, fun bug that got added when they changed how kill credit works with supports. It was recently used to kill Aura Legendary CM, because you would go in the pond and dissolve yourself in acid to very quickly stack up sigils. This is actually, the funny thing is about this, and they do try to address this a little bit there's more time now on Aura Legendary mode. When you get to the 0% phase when the boss heals, you get more time, and that is to basically counter these nerfs. But the thing is, these nerfs are actually pretty brutal, because bear in mind, Mech got nerfed by about 1.5k DPS. You run 6 of those in the current meta composition for Aura. So that's, a 12k DPS loss. And they're nerfing Thorns, and you don't have stacking sigils. And the stacking sigils were about 7% DPS approximately. Thorns are like, losing essentially 200 condition, which is big. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, people are gonna need to cook up a different comp, I think, because that is gonna be interesting, for sure. The DPS loss is absolutely savage, I think, on these mechanists. So, I don't know, maybe people can cook up some kind of Vindicator comp, because Vindicator has been buffed a little bit in PvE. And yeah, maybe you have to run around killing the Titans to stack that up. But look, that's going to take so long. That's like uninstalled here. People are definitely not doing that. But yeah, good luck, have fun, guys. That's going to be a rough one. The other thing is with Aura LCM, I don't want to ramble on this too much because it's like, it's pretty niche. But the thing is about Aura LCM is that I feel like more time is not necessarily useful because you can't kill the vent shots in the final phase. These like really big bad ads start spawning, and they have 20 million HP. They're not supposed to be killed. You have to just like survive them, burn the boss down. Like, and you typically run out of room after 10 minutes anyway in that last phase. So I don't know. People might have to do some cooking and come up with a different composition that can live better or can handle the mechanics better in the last phase. But the current strategy, I don't think it works anymore. I'd be surprised if the current strat works. Unless the timer is like massive somehow and then teams cook some kind of strategy. But current strat, I don't think works anymore on Aura LCM because of this is just a savage DPS loss overall to clear Aura. We'll have to see though, obviously. We will, see what teams cook up and if there's a solution or new builds, new compositions that can be found to tackle this. But yeah, because bear in mind, you're losing 450 condition damage on every mech. That's a lot, right? That's actually a crazy amount of damage. And you're eating a 1.9k DPS hit on every mech. And 450 condi damage. Good luck. Good news for Ellie mains. Guys, you can still complain you didn't get buffed. Oh, I know you love it. I know you guys love it. I know you love it, really. Yep. Hammer Tempest is not going to be a squillion DPS. It has been... The changes did not go through. It was going to be like 50k or something crazy. So good news, guys. You can still complain about your class being bad. So shout out to ArenaNet. They saved you there. Okay, you almost wouldn't have been able to complain. Now you can. A couple of changes here to PvP supports. This happened to all 3 of the supports that are actually strong right now. We see this Elementalist, Aquamancer's Training, healing down. Elemental Bastion, healing down. Mesmer, self-sustain with Spear 3 is going down. Cooldown up, so less evasion, less healing, less condi cleanse. Mental Collapse only stuns on the first impact. It kind of had this radiating effect. This is going to be a lot easier to avoid now. Singularity Shot, this is the 5 skill. Cooldown goes up. Time Warp duration goes down to 3 seconds, right? That's a really big change. An incredibly powerful offensive defensive tool for the Chronomancer in PvP, and protection getting slashed down to 2 seconds in PvP as well. And then the support warrior build also just having number reductions. So Valiant Leap, cooldown, that's the leap on staff. Wow, who could have seen that one coming? Defiant Roar, healing goes down a lot actually, 1,680, and scaling reduction. Path to Victory, that's the little charge ability. Much less healing. That's the 3 skill, right? The little charge thing you can do. Vigorous Shouts also going down there as well. Why are they doing this? Well, Sustain is kind of... PvP is in a really, really weird spot right now, to be honest, where the numbers are just kind of crazy. Yeah, like the numbers are kind of crazy because there's loads of damage, but also loads of sustain. So supports are really strong in the team fight. They can just be such a big roadblock. They're tanky. They heal a lot, right? They give good boon application. They're a real roadblock, going into it, when you play ranked and the enemy team has a support and you don't, it can honestly feel hopeless fighting into that side. If it's a good support, obviously. It can feel really hard to engage into that. They're trying to address that. And also in competitive play, they want to avoid people running 2 supports. So I think these changes are warranted. It's going to make the meta increasingly bloody, though. Like, there is a concern here that I have with PvP. And I think it's a concern particularly for new players. There's a lot of damage right now. Like, you die fast. It's really crept up. I think in Janthea Wilds, relics were power creep, obviously starting in Soto, and then they kept buffing things, basically. Like, since then, really. You're gonna get crushed. Less of a concern for rank, to be honest, because again, like, you know, you don't always have like a, you know, support side noder, kind of standardized comp in ranked, so it's not gonna feel super different there. But in the kind of more competitive play, when you usually do have a support on your team, like, kill time is gonna be pretty brutal, I think. Especially if things keep going the way that they are, of course. But overall, I do think good changes, because supports were a bit oppressive, to be honest. I think. Could feel very frustrating. And also, they want to make Firebrand good. They've been buffing Firebrand. Firebrand did get buffs, particularly to Virtue's interactions with Firebrand. They basically reduced the recharge on the tomes, you know, when they go red when you activate them, and you get the passive proc from Virtues. The cooldowns that's going down, which is actually very relevant for all gamers, by the way. It happens in PvE as well, but definitely for PvP, where you're going to have more stability application, more prot application, more Condi cleanses, and so on. So they want to make Firebrand better. Honestly, that would be kind of hype, right? I think Firebrand, weirdly enough, is one of the healthier supports to be good in PvP, because it doesn't have a lot of instant cast. I find instant cast supports to be really obnoxious. So Warrior, Core Guardian. Core Guardian is the worst for this. Oh my god, it's such a horrible build to play against, in my opinion. Yeah, Core Guard, Warrior, and Mesmer can feel super unfun because of how much instant cast AoE sustain they have. Can be difficult to shut down. Tempest and Firebrand feel a bit healthier because they hard cast a bit more. Some of those you can interrupt them, you have counterplay to them a bit more, as opposed to just like this random sustain going out all the time. So I kind of like the fact that we're trying to kind of push Firebrand back into the meta. And honestly, with these buffs, people are definitely going to experiment with it. The thing is it going to live? That's kind of what it feels like. It is going to be the threshold for if it survives. One of the things that's really good about Chrono and Ellie as well, actually, is that they live. Like, they live pretty damn well. Chronomancer obviously having Distort, the evasion, good mobility, right? Shield. Well, not shield, actually. You play rifle, spear, right? But, spear has an evade on it. So you can live pretty damn well with the super speed kiting as well. So if Firebrand lives, honestly, it could be competitive now, I think. It will definitely see some experimentation. So that would be cool to kind of see that come back. And honestly, have this spot where we have a lot of viable supports, right? This is actually crazy. Like, this is very uncommon for Guild Wars 2. Typically, one support dominates the meta. But now we might have Firebrand viable, Tempest, Warrior, Chrono as well. Very, very cool, actually. And obviously wait. Chrono, Tempest, Spellbreaker, Firebrand, Chrono. Yeah, big. That's a lot of supports. Very exciting. Very exciting. Necromancers. You were probably worried about Spectral Grass getting nerfed. Don't worry. They didn't do that. They also didn't nerf Power Virtuoso. There you go. They nerfed Untamed in PvP. This is actually really funny. Like, Untamed has got nerfed a fair bit, okay? And it's a bit of a ranked monstrosity, to be honest. It does absolutely demolish people in ranked. I think it actually does. I want to say it struggles a little bit in competitive at this point, because it is getting nerfed a fair bit. We'll have to see if boys can make it work. But look, at this stage, we are balancing the game entirely around boys. Love to see that. Very good. Very, very good. But yeah, Untamed. Ooh. Yeah, Forest Fortification. Damage reduction only 33% in PvP only. Yeah, big sustain of. I mean, this build is tanky as hell, actually, to be fair. Like, when you play this well, you actually live on it extremely, extremely well. It's hard to kill. A lot of barrier application. The damage reduction really coming into play there as well. Power Rev. Dude, it's kind of cool, actually. Like, ArenaNet are kind of on this. Like, this is actually a new build that started cropping up. Basically, Power Revenant is back a little bit. You play Sword, Shield, and Spear, actually. And they kind of gave it a bit of a slap here. To be fair, this ability was pretty annoying. No weakness and slow in World vs. World and PvP on the 3 skill on Spear. It's a little dash that drops the little mines. Weakness and slow, obviously, insanely powerful conditions in competitive modes. So that's just gone. big nerf. So it's just a sustain tool now and a bit of a mobility thing. And way less damage on those mines, and also just less damage on the Abyssal Blot. So less Condi damage, and also less power damage. Of course, both power and Condi Rev, very strong in competitive. Like, Condi Rev seeing a lot of play, power starting to creep into the meta as well. So, yeah, there you go. It's good to see some numbers go down for a change. I will definitely admit that. I absolutely do. Thief... They made the Axe abilities not go mega long, but honestly, Axe Thief is still a little bit of a blight. I'm not gonna lie on the community. It's not a fun build to play against, that's for sure. 4 Death, Power Vindy buffs are going through here. I think not quite. I think they didn't buff it quite as much, if I recall correctly, but they still buffed it a fair bit. It's a cool build actually. It's one of the ones I quite like is Power Vindicator. Really good on fights like HTCM. I was kind of a big fan of it there. Fell out of favor. It basically got out power crept by other builds, but you know, we're adding a couple of numbers back in there as well to help out with that. And then a couple of Willbender nerfs for PvP. Yeah, still obviously a really top performing build, especially in ranked. And Helio Rush, only 1 charge. That kind of matches how it is in other game modes now at this stage. I think that's a good change. Less mobility, less burst as well. Like, less like very big damage, like front-loaded damage, because you can use it twice to just like obliterate people very, very hard. And less CC. The Symbol Luminance is the stun that gives resistance, so a little bit less resistance uptime, and also less AoE stun potential as well. So I think some good changes there as well. It is still going to be good, especially in ranked. 100%. It's going to be powerful, but hopefully less oppressive, because it is a build that people do struggle against a fair bit. Magnet, dude, the pull nerfs continue. The Scuttle plays a sound effect on its target, so you can hear if you're being magnet pulled. I think this is a very specific world versus world change, I think. It's very specifically going in that direction. Because, you know, it's hard to see the telegraph. That's why they've made the mower thing put the effect over your head, not just over the Mesmer's head. So you can kind of see if you're being mowed, and this is to help you see if you're getting pulled, basically. Oh, that's funny. That is actually a funny meme, guys. You love to see that. Wait, what happened with World vs. World? Replace the Recruit Patrol upgrade for all objectives with a static guard group to protect the objective. Additionally, a trading post merchant will become available in Keeps and Stonemas Castle at this upgrade level. Oh! Yo! This change is part of an ongoing investigation into performance issues. Well, I mean, that's good. Less lag in World vs. World is always a good time. Oh, look at that! You get a TP at SMC, guys! Look! Maguma's gonna be happy with that! Love to see it. Very exciting. But yeah, I think that's basically all the balance changes. They honestly really responded to feedback here, right? Like, a lot of the changes that have been modified here are what people were like, are you guys crazy? Don't make Hammer Tempest do 55k DPS. That's crazy. They might try and nerf Spectral Grasp in World vs. World specifically, because I think they do still want to tone down the pulls. A lot of the changes to pulls, notably the Necromancer Greatsword ones and the Warrior pulls, did still go through. So I think they will attempt to address it in another way. Maybe a cooldown increase. But you might be saying, why didn't they just balance split it? Bear in mind, guys, that range, there are a couple of things that they can't balance split. I believe they can't change number of targets, and they can't balance split range. There's a couple of things they can't do. They've spoken about this a little bit. So that's why they didn't balance split. That's why they can't do that. So they'd have to look at another avenue for doing it. I will admit, though, this is a really fun skill in PvE, so I'm pretty happy this didn't go through. It is also kind of fun in World vs. World as well, I'm not going to lie. Like, you know, being able to yoink people. But it could maybe... it can maybe use some additional counterplay, because I think what they're concerned about, to give the analysis here, they're concerned about a lack of counterplay in World vs. World, because it's like very difficult to see this like little hand yoinking you, you know? It's pretty easy to avoid Necromancer, like the Greatsword pull on Necro and Warrior, because they have a good cone telegraph, but this tiny little hand flying towards you, it's pretty difficult to see. So that's ultimately their concern there and what they'll try and address. So maybe they can give it like a really big cooldown increase to make it so it's like significantly less annoying, or maybe just make the projectile bigger or something and make it like a bigger hand so you can see it, although that might look a little bit silly if there's a bunch of people using it at the same time. So yeah, I don't know what to tell you, but anyway, there you have it. Those are the Guild Wars 2 patches, and look at this, guys. If you like listening to me read patch notes, oh, you guys are in for a treat, because we've also got the Guild Wars 1 patch notes. Wow. Okay, this is big. Look, you know what I'm gonna do? This is actually crazy. I'm playing WoW now. We're doing Guild Wars 1, Guild Wars 2. I need to start playing RuneScape and Final Fantasy. I could just, all of my streams could just be reading patch notes. Like, what about that, guys? How cool would that be? I bet YouTube would love that. Like, we could just, every single day, I'm reading the patch notes of a different game. That's big, no? I don't know. Look, that's my content for the next year. Yeah, ESO, New World, Destiny. Yeah, we can just read them all. Okay, oh yeah. This is our patch notes theme stream now, guys. But anyway, Guild Wars 1 enjoyers, good news. We made it easier than ever to play Guild Wars. The new Guild Wars, the 20th Anniversary Masterpiece Collection, includes all 3 campaigns, Prophecies, Factions, Nightfall, Eye of the North, and some special bonus items, and now the bonus mission pack. So basically, you can now buy Guild Wars 1 in one go. Like, all of it in one go. And, yeah, I mean, I think that's actually a very sensible thing. I think it's a problem that, you know, a lot of ongoing games have, is that you keep adding more stuff and you have to buy a bunch of different things. It gets weird. It's confusing for, like, new players and so on. Having, like, a single thing, buy it, boom, easy. That does feel really good. In my opinion, so this is smart, and it's good that they're kind of marketing it a little bit, right? Like, Guild Wars 1's a great game, you know, and it's actually a really funny meme. Oh yeah, here you go. You can, here it is on the store. How much is it? Let's see, how much does it cost? Boom, Guild Wars 1. What? Yeah, oh yeah, it's on sale right now, so 80% off. That is insane. £7 for all of Guild Wars 1. That is wild. Wait, and you get bonus character slots, and you get the bank tabs. And you get some random stuff and like all of the content. I'm not gonna lie, that is actually wild. It is gonna be, it looks like it's £35, and it will be, yeah, until after April 29th, it's gonna be, but you know, up back to its regular price. They'll probably put it on sale sometimes, right? But damn, that is actually insane value. Goodness me, wish I had a referral link for that one, guys. I don't know, yeah, if you want to play Guild Wars 1, it's a good time. And I honestly would recommend it. Like, I played through it. I've got God Walking Amongst Mere Mortals, which basically, like, do all the content. My Hall of Monuments is maxed out. And even if you just want to go get the skins, right, get some achievement points, you can go do it, right? There's a bunch of AP and skins and stuff, all available in Guild Wars 1. And it's also just a great game. You know, it's one of the things, like, I've remarked on this a couple of times. I'll do it now for a YouTube video. I think I've never said it on a YouTube video. But ArenaNet actually got punished really hard for actually being a good company here. And this is so funny to me. So, classic MMOs have had like a really big resurgence recently. You know, old school RuneScape, classic WoW, right? All this kind of stuff. But you know what happened with those games? Those games went away, right? And then they brought them back, yeah? But Guild Wars 1, it never went away. They just kept it running. So they've never had this big relaunch. I would love to see ArenaNet try and actually have, you know, have a couple of devs making new stuff and kind of adding content to Guild Wars 1. And this could be a thing that they do in the future, by the way, because, again, like, I am of the opinion that we are going to see a Guild Wars 3. And I don't think, you know, there's been some commentary. There was a extra live stream where Colin was talking about how if they could go back, they probably wouldn't abandon Guild Wars 1 entirely. And that, to me, strongly implies that if we do see a Guild Wars 3, they're going to keep Guild Wars 2 going as well. Maybe in a lesser capacity, obviously, as they, you know, they'll probably focus on the, you know, the later in the series, but they'll probably keep it going. I would love to see them, like, slap a dev or two on Guild Wars 1 and honestly have a bit of a fresh, like, do a relaunch, get fresh servers, add new content, maybe do it progressive like they do in Classic WoW Rex. In Classic WoW, they do Vanilla, Burning Crusade, Wrath, Kata, we're going to Panda soon. So have it progressive, like, you know, because of course the game changed over time, right? Like, you know, balance change, new abilities, heroes, mercenaries, right? You could have progressive servers that add those features over time. You could add hardcore, which is ridiculously popular in both old school RuneScape and classic WoW, obviously. Guild Wars was a good game, and, you know, it's weird. It hasn't had that resurgence in the other way that other classic MMOs have, because it's never had a relaunch. It's always existed, right? It's never gone anywhere. So it would be cool if that actually happened in the future. Might be tough with the bandwidth, obviously, but and look, they're able to add some stuff, right? Because look, we've got a bunch of new quests. You can go and get all the minis. They basically added quests to go get like the kind of exclusive miniatures, basically, which is really cool. So if you want to go get like the stuff that you can't get anymore, because of course, like, you know, promotions, right? Like all that kind of stuff, right? It's now back in the mix, and all the limited time weapons are in the game as well. So they're, you know, they've added them to drop tables, right? You can buy them from other players as well, all that kind of stuff, right? There, you know, a few exclusive to PvP rules added to the loot tables across Tyria, Cantha, Alona, and Eye of the North. So yeah, there you go. All that stuff is going on there as well. And this is also really cool. Check this out, guys. Look at this. We're excited to announce we have permanently added a new series of suffix mods of the profession. These are available as rare drops on main hand weaponry. These mods have the following special features. They increase the associated profession's primary attribute up to a small limit, which is 5 in this case. So for context here, for Guild Wars 2 players, this is like, I mean, it doesn't quite work in Guild Wars 2 because it's a bit different, but it's like, imagine if you could have, it doesn't really work in Guild Wars 2, but basically each profession in Guild Wars 1 has a primary attribute, right? And it has like a special bonus. For example, Elementalist gets more energy. You have more energy. Necromancer, when stuff dies, you get energy back, right? All that kind of stuff. And, you know, our warrior gets armor penetration. And now, previously, well, up until now, you couldn't really get that on other professions, because when you dual class in Guild Wars 1, you can have the secondary attributes, right? So for example, if you secondary into an elementalist, you can use fire, air, water, and earth, but you can't get energy storage. But now you actually can. You can get 5 of it, which means that you could potentially use different skills that only scale with energy storage, or you can simply use the passive. So I think really cool, actually. It's pretty cool, to be honest. They've added this into the game, a little bit of new content, added a couple of new combos, and maybe some new build ideas that you can do in Guild Wars. Well, they've done this before. Of course, they added new elite skills to the game that are definitely pretty powerful. A bunch of new builds kind of popped up. They've added new weapons that kind of enable different playstyles and so on. The Guild Wars 1 build system, very flexible, so there's a lot of potential for stuff like this. So do love to see that. There's actually, it's a pretty big patch, honestly, considering that this game ultimately is a legacy product. And also, look at this. The weapon will be upgraded with a special streak effect when using combat, based on the profession's associated color. In the case of spears, bows, rods, and staves, which often don't support the streak on the weapon itself, the streak is applied to their projectiles. So this is a bit like legendaries, basically. You get a little trail effect. We're interested to see how that looks. That might be very obnoxious, but look, that's the point, isn't it? For rods and other suffixes, these mods will only appear in Nightfall or Eye of the North areas. There you go. And a couple of other changes as well. They did some bug fixes. And this is actually funny. I think this is... People were warning me about this today, actually, because we're going to be playing some Guild Wars 1. The frame rate. Like, if you... The game is weird if you run it above a certain frame rate. But now they've capped it to 180 FPS. So that won't happen. Feels good. Love to see that. And they also made consumables give a combat bonus for 30 minutes as opposed to, I think they were like 5 to 10 minutes, a lot of these before. Why are they doing this? It's because Guild Wars 1, fun fact, guys, does still have a dedicated player base. So there are people who do speedruns. Like, you'll see world records and so on get set sometimes, even in modern times. And obviously, these consumables are really, really powerful. They're really, really powerful. And... you need them to speedrun, right? If you want to get world records or get really fast times. And yeah, if they have a short duration, 1, it's kind of annoying, right? But 2, obviously pretty expensive because you can't necessarily always get these. And look, I gotta be honest here, guys. The Guild Wars 1 economy is entirely run by bots. It's actually interesting because the player base is so low. Obviously, it's, you know, it's an old game, doesn't get updated. The game would kind of be a little bit unplayable without bots, because if you had to farm your own consumables to actually play this content, good luck with that. So the game is basically propped up in a sense by botting an RMT. So I think it would actually be pretty interesting if they went a little bit further on this. Like, I feel like they have two choices. They can either try to actually make the game have a higher population so the economy actually functions and like materials actually exist, or they could go even further and kind of go an angle like they do in Guild Wars 2, where you have like an infinite one, like an infinite cupcake, right? And you could like turn a bunch of them in and like do a farm to get an infinite one. Same with all these consumes as well, so you could just like have all of them so that speedrunners can do that. Because right now, again, I'm gonna be real with you guys, there's a lot of bots, okay? The bots are basically propping up the consumable needs of our wonderful Guild Wars 1 speedrunners, and I'm sure people are not entirely happy with that situation. It's kind of a needs-must scenario. But yeah, there you go, guys. You can load up on costumes and other quality of it, 60% off. Wow. Buy the game for £7. I guess it's about, I want to say like $9 or something, like $9 to $10. Wow, epic value. But there you have it. Those are the patch notes for Guild Wars 1 and Guild Wars 2. Look, we got 2 games. Maybe I'll do, you know, we'll do a third. Let's go over to Wowhead right now and let's read through those as well. Oh yeah. But anyway, that's the content. That's the gaming. Those are the notes. Shout out to YouTube, by the way. We have got 174 people watching me read patch notes on YouTube, and believe me, I love to see that. I really do. Follow me on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube, like the video on YouTube, like the live stream on YouTube, leave comments on the live stream on YouTube, watch every other video I have ever created. Get ready for Guild Wars 1 hardcore content. Okay, get ready for that. Link to the Guild Wars 1 hardcore Discord will be in the description, and to Lara's community Discord will also be there. Patch notes will also be linked. Click the links or don't. It really is entirely up to you, I suppose. You know, that's just the way it goes. Enjoy. Enjoy, 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 enjoy. That's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time. HC Hype. HC Hype.